Hey guys, we are back with part 2 of our E3 Bonanza. I'm taking the helm this time, and obviously I'm Hardlydan. With me, as the rest of this show is Amras89. But anyway, Sony E3 stuff. They showed us a lovely looking trailer for Destiny. However, I was looking at it thinking, well, that looks a lot like Halo, doesn't it?
Actually, it's funny, whenever I first saw it, they're like on Mars or whatever, I thought of that game that's on Steam.
Yeah, so did I. Lifeless Planet. Actually, one of the most telling comments I saw in the chat at the time was, "Hey Bungie, your old IP called and wants its assets back." It was, it did look incredibly Halo-esque, which I guess is understandable. You know, obviously it's Bungie. Kind of seems weird that it's coming out, you know, on Xbox and PS4, and yet still no PC. Bungie seem to have a real thing against, you know, the machine they create their games on, which is really odd. But there's it looks fantastic. It's, you know, typical sci-fi shootery Bungie-ness.
It sucks because the beginning of this whole stream and everything that was going on, I was editing our last regular podcast at the time, and I'm like looking back, trying to get everything put up on the internet. I'm like, I have two windows open, trying to just switch back and forth. So I missed a few things in the beginning, but I was, you know, getting bits and pieces as stuff was going on.
Well, you know, Destiny got a fair good reaction from the crowds, and loads of people are super excited about it. I hope they don't get let down. I really do. I'm not that kind of an evil person, even though it's not coming out on PC, bastards. Anyway, PlayStation gamers can get into the beta. That's right, I said beta because I'm English. On July the 17th, so keep an eye out for that. In fact, I think there was some registered thing or whatever that was going on, but meh. And another thing that got a huge reception was the white PS4 that's coming bundled with Destiny, and a 30-day voucher for PS Plus.
Oh, you mean Nintendo's white PS4?
Oh yeah, the LA Times. They're brilliant at journalism. They're winning all the journalism.
Oh, whenever I saw that news story, I just lost it. It was
I saw it. I was like, oh, really? I thought the LA Times was actually a fairly good newspaper, but apparently not. Anyway, the white PS4 bundled with Destiny and the 30-day voucher is announced for September the 9th, you know, Destiny's launch, and it does look rather nice, I must admit. It won't fit in with my stuff, though, because it's all black and red. Moving on, they showed a bit of the Order 1886, which we talked about. Was it last week or the week before? Can't remember.
We talked about it for a couple of weeks in a row. Actually.
Yeah, and there was a fight with a monster, and it kind of felt like the final game could be a lot creepier than was first kind of shown. It felt quite tense. And
yeah, like a couple of weeks ago when we talked about the newer trailer that they showed. Like, it, you know, had him fighting humans and stuff, and then now they're showing monsters, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with this game.
And yeah, it looks interesting, but it's not enough for me to want the PS4. I mean, I really want to play Destiny. I know we're going back to Destiny, but that one game isn't enough to get me for me to get a PS4 or an Xbox One.
Well, they do have a few games that'll probably, like the R1886 is one that I'm going to want, Destiny's going to be one. I mean, during this press conference, they had more stuff that I'd want than I did from Microsoft, so it still looks like I'm probably going for a PS4 next.
Yeah, I could kind of see that, but yeah, I guess you've already got the console to have at the moment, which is obviously the Wii U. And I am saying that without any hint of irony. There's loads of great stuff coming out on that, which we'll talk about in the next show. It looks cool. I kind of respect the developers for, you know, wanting to stick to 30 frames per second, apparently for aesthetic reasons. Oh. I'm not entirely sure about that, especially since they're doing it in an anamorphic. But actually, in anamorphic, it looks really cool. It does mean that anyone that's got a 16:9 screen, which is, I think, the majority of people that have a PlayStation 4.
Oh.
You'll have big old black bars across the top of your screen, and if you don't like it, well, sorry about that. Next up, we had the trailer for Entwined, made by Pixel Opus. And the team's made up from recent graduates that have obviously been doing some sort of game design or something. And it looked kind of cool. You have this fish and I can't remember what the other character is, but a bird, I think. And you control one with the left thumbstick and one with the right thumbstick. And it kind of reminded me of some of those old school shooters where you'd be going around in a circle and you'd have to shoot stuff. But in this case, you've got to go through the right colours and you've got to, a bit like Brothers, Tale of Two Sons. You've got to kind of separate your mind a bit so you can do stuff differently. I imagine it'll be easy for people who play the piano and a little bit harder for the rest of us, because I do find that my thumbs start mirroring each other in certain cases on games, and trying to look at two separate things and control two separate things at the same time can, at first anyway, it can be quite tricky, but you do soon get used to it. It looks really pretty, and it's available now, so if you're interested, you're probably already playing it. It's on PSN for $10. Check it out. I don't know if there's a demo, but check it out. It's well worth having a look at.
Yeah, and that's one of those things I didn't get to see. I'll have to look it up.
But anyway, next up, there was some infamous Second Son DLC, which marvellously doesn't require the original game to run. Well, you liked the look of it, didn't you?
I think Infamous looks really, really good. I do want to see the whole, whenever I actually play it, the neon stuff or whatever, because people say it looks really cool in the game. I saw part of this trailer. I was looking over at it, but I didn't see too much of it. It does look cool, and I think it's funny because it's First Light, and then you got Second Son, and then you're gonna have, I don't know, Third Donut next.
Fourth Daughter, or
they're just gonna keep using first, second, third, fourth. Just gonna keep going up.
Maybe ending with Broken Light Switch or something. I don't know.
Dark Sun.
Well, actually, one of the games that really did grab me, and Media Molecule have done it before. I enjoyed watching and playing a little bit of Little Big Planet, and obviously I think I might have played a little bit of Little Big Planet 2. I don't remember, but obviously Little Big Planet 3, and they've got a few new characters in there, apart from just Sackboy. You've got one character that can wall jump, which I think was called Oddsock. There was another one called was it Flip, or I can't remember the name, and that can grow and shrink, so he can be like absolutely huge, or really small, or really tiny. And then there's the bird, whose name again I can't remember, and that opens up a load of different pathways through different puzzles and more games that people can design. And it had a lot more, I'd say, depth to it. I don't mean depth in the story, I mean actual physical depth in the game. You can go back into the scene, or you can come further out forwards, and you can play it as as the theme of this year's E3, a 4-player co-op, so that you can, one of your friends can act as one of these. Each friend has a different character, and you can help each other get through the missions, through the levels. So you'll have to get the guy who gets smaller to go through a tiny bit, so you can then go to a switch and get large and open up it for the rest of us, or you can use the bird to pick people up to fly them across the map. And that looked really interesting, but what it tends to come down with for me for Little Big Planet is the user created stuff. A lot of the times the stuff that the users create is absolutely mind-blowing compared with the stuff in the game, and brilliantly, all the levels from Little Big Planet 1 and 2 will work in Little Big Planet 3.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
But one of the coolest ones that I saw for 2, it was like the whole opening of Final Fantasy VII, all with Sock Boys, playing Barret and Cloud and all that stuff. and I really want to play it. I was waiting for Little Big Planet to go cheap or something like that, and it never got cheap enough for me to want to buy it. But I do want to play through a bunch of people's stuff, so maybe I'll get Little Big Planet 3 whenever I get a PS4.
Well, it seems like the way to go, doesn't it? Because all of the classic brilliant maps that have been made, you can play now.
Yeah, because nobody cares about the story in it or whatever that much. I don't even know how much.
I imagine there are some people that do. But obviously, it's got a lovely increase in resolution and frame rate, and it really does look gorgeous now. You can really see the threads in the wool and the stitching. And yeah, it looks fantastic. Whether or not it's a game for me, probably not. I like completely different games, to be honest. I'm not a huge platformer, so yeah. Although I did nearly buy Cast of Illusion on Green Man Gaming today because it was dirt cheap, but it turned out that I had no money on my account, so I haven't. It was really annoying. I've got £1.50 in credit on that site for playing games, and it was £2.50. And I'm like, no, £1, damn it. But nah, it'll be on sale again. It'll be fine. And when it is, I will have made that credit up. But yeah, next up we had a lovely little trailer from Software for Miyazaki's rumoured Project Beast, which is now called Bloodborne. It's coming out next year. Unlike the previous leak, there was no fog and everything else going on. It looked really good. But the trailer was all CG, so we'll have to wait to see if it looks that good. Finally,
I'm sure it's gonna look pretty good.
And it's going to be hard to tell if it continues with the kind of Souls series legacy of gameplay. Hopefully it will. I don't see why it can't. I don't see why it can't even. It was kind of interesting again in the chat. People going, "Oh, is that a vampire? Is that a vampire?" And I was sitting there thinking, "That's no vampire. That's a werewolf." And sure enough, this guy turns into a werewolf. And yeah, it looked pretty cool. And then, I mean, there's not a huge amount we can really say about that. With the CG trailer. That's I mean, the amount of times we've been duped.
The guy has a gun.
Yeah, but the amount of times we've been duped into thinking a game's going to be amazing off the back of a CG trailer, and then it turns out Killzone was a pile of shit. That kind of stuff. It's not easy to tell. So we'll not talk too much about that. Reserve judgment till it comes out. But then Ubisoft showed off Far Cry 4 again. And yeah, we've talked about it already. There was some really nice looking footage, and the whole elephant in the firefight was brilliant. I was kind of wondering if you could strap C4 to the elephant and then
oh, that'd be awesome.
Okay, it would be a dead elephant, but it's not a real elephant, so it's not that bad.
I've already had whaling, so.
Well, yeah, and apparently, I'm not entirely sure if this is right, but apparently if you get the game on PS3 or PS4, you can invite your friend to play it with you, even if they don't own the game.
Yeah, apparently you get 10 invites to play with. I don't know if it's like you get an invite for 10 people, or you can invite people in only 10 times. I'm thinking it's going to be like, your friend can play with you once you give them an invitation. But who knows? Maybe it's only like 10 sessions, to try to get those people to buy the game, because apparently they get to play for a certain amount of time, a mission, I don't know, and then it'll like ask me if they want to buy the game then. All
right.
So basically, it's like a demo.
Yeah, it's still kind of cool. I don't think having enjoyed the previous Far Cry and Far Cry 2 for that matter, and to a certain extent the first Far Cry, I'm just going to end up buying it. I don't think there's many people out there that need to be swayed if it's your kind of genre and you've played the previous ones, especially with that intro trailer they showed, and then some of the gameplay. It's like, yeah, okay, it looks gorgeous. It's more of the same Far Cry stuff. There's a crazy bad guy. Gonna have to get that just for the elephants. And the possibility of C4 on elephants. I mean, that would be brilliant.
Yeah, I wonder what else is going to be there to kill you in this game. Because this takes place, in, like, the Himalayas or something, I don't know.
Yeah, there's going to be, mountain tigers or mountain lions or whatever
They're
they
going to
are.
be mountain goats, billy goats.
Probably, yeah. They'll probably butt you off the edge of the cliff or something. And evil rabbits.
Like in Monty Python.
Next up, though, a really quite funny Dead Island 2 trailer. Again, it was all just trailer, really, wasn't it? And I'm not entirely sure if I saw Jack Black in it or not. But yeah, it starts off with this guy going for a jog, and he's got his headphones on, listening to some music, and there's all kind of carnage going on behind him.
You see, like, he has a bite on his wrist, whatever.
Yeah, and he hides it with his sweatband, yeah. And then he kind of turns very quickly, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's just, like, running. People are, like, getting chased down, eating, whatever. And then, like, his flesh just starts falling off. Like, damn. That's some virus.
Yeah, there's a helicopter crashing in the background, and
how he didn't hear any of that, I don't know.
And perhaps he's quite deaf.
Apparently he's like a bodybuilder or something, because at the end of the trailer, like, it shows a billboard of him or something. And then he gets hit by a truck. Oh, look at these shoes, man!
Oh yeah, and the guy picks up one of his shoes that's come off, and then his leg, his shoe, and a bit of his foot, and a bit of his shin. He's like, "Oh man, awesome!" And the other dude in the car's like, "Come on, let's go." He's like, "No, it's cool, man. I got this. Oh, I always wanted a pair of these." And he puts it up to his foot to check the size and everything.
Yeah. The trailer was quite funny, and then it goes like Dead Island 2 or whatever. And
I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what the limited edition statue comes with this
another torso.
I mean, obviously a lot of people were offended by the last one, and yeah, it wasn't exactly in the greatest taste. But then I suppose Dead Island isn't exactly in the greatest taste anyway. Whether or not that should be an excuse, well, no, it shouldn't. But hopefully it's going to be a lot better than the first one. But one thing that I found interesting is I didn't see anything about Dying Light, which I saw at Eurogamer last year, and it's made by a lot of the same guys that did Dead Island. And that game was absolutely brilliant when I played it. It's supposed to be coming out fairly soon.
I don't know.
Not a sausage about that, so maybe I'll find out soon. Well, I'll see. It comes with you can get a 30-day exclusive beta and a load of other exclusive stuff on the PlayStation.
That's something I saw a lot of this E3. Beta.
Yeah,
everyone has a beta now.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure it's a good thing, because you get so many people that are going, "Oh, this game's shit. Oh, I don't understand. Why are they releasing it like this?" And I was like, it's not released. This is a beta. What you're supposed to do is tell them about the bugs so that they can fix them and get on with making the game.
Mm-hmm.
And, quite often I'd rather not be in the beta, because, okay, it's a lot better, should be a lot better than being in the alpha for a game. But I don't like the idea of paying to be in a beta and actually paying to do some of their work. But yeah, next up, Diablo 3. You'll be able to get some monsters from The Last of Us.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting.
Really freaking weird. I mean,
that makes like a reason to have it on that system, to play Diablo and then go after monsters in The Last of Us.
Oh, I don't know, does it? But anyway, they're going to have their own unique behaviours and move sets. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some unique loot as well, but kind of weird. It's the Ultimate Evil Edition. So yeah, if you're into Diablo 3 and for some reason don't want to play it on the PC with the right controls, I guess the PS4 version is going to be the one to have. But then you've probably already got the PS3 or the Xbox version. So it's entirely up to you. Anyway, Disney Infinity 2 is getting some Avengers content on PlayStation. I'm not sure if that's 3 and 4 or just 4. Can't really remember. It was very late.
Yeah, like they showed some with Hulk. I don't know. I think like they're getting him. I don't know, for like a month or something, and the others have to wait. Which
Yeah.
is just that's
The
dumb.
old time exclusive stuff.
Yeah. Which we'll just get. How's that work? Because all the figures work with all. I guess you can't. I don't know.
I guess it's like having a code for something that you can't use until a specific date. You know, it's in the physical DLC. Anyway, next up, they announced a partnership between Paradox and Sony, and apparently every Paradox studio is currently working on a PS4 game, and Magicka 2 was shown quite a lot. And that was really quite funny. They had this live action video with this out of work red wizard who's just sitting there looking for jobs and screwing papers, and I think he had a pet, a cat, didn't he, that ended up getting destroyed. Well worth watching that one. Very, very funny.
That was probably the best trailer or whatever, that I saw for anything at E3, because it was just hilarious.
It was definitely one of the funniest, and I suppose possibly one of the best, because there's a game that we're going to talk about in a bit, a few titles down, and the trailer for that wasn't as good as what you can see on their own site. But anyway, Magicka 2 is looking fantastic. It's great to see that there's a load of Paradox stuff coming out with the PlayStation 4. It's obviously helping them, going to help them kind of maintain their stranglehold on decent games compared with the Xbox One, which does seem to be lacking somewhat. Anyway, next up, they had some apparently letters that were written by fans, read marketing department, and there was this one letter that kept. Apparently, it was from a young girl that was asking to be able to play some classic old games.
And pirating is bad.
Yeah, and I really can't remember the name of the chap. I want to say Jim Schafer, but I don't think that was him. And it ended up anyway being this guy holding the photo that's obviously written about it. And they are remastering Grim Fandango. And I've just realised that whole thing about the letter isn't the right game anyway. Or possibly even the right presentation. Oh well, never mind.
Yeah, it's Tim Schafer's Double Fine.
Yeah. Okay, I was right. Anyway, Grim Fandango, fantastic game. One game on this list that is actually making me consider getting a PS4 or a PS Vita, because I love that game and I'd love to see a remastered version of it. So much fun, such great dark humor and
what was that
point-and-click adventures.
Because I never got to play it, but I have seen it before.
I think I had it on my Amiga 500, if not definitely one of my first
Is it that
proper
old?
PCs. Oh yeah, it's an old school game, man.
So it says.
I think I might have had it on PC in the 90s.
Oh my god, I've seen it. I just don't remember it.
So yeah, well worth. If you've got no idea what the hell I'm talking about, I feel so very sorry for you. It's a wonderful game. It's so much fun. If you've got a PS4 or a PS Vita, get it when it comes out. It's going to look fantastic. It's going to be just as fun as ever. They'll probably chuck some new stuff in. With a bit of luck, they'll do what they did with Monkey Island, although that wasn't Double Fine, where you can like switch between the old graphics and the new graphics, because some of us like that stuff. But anyway, they then showed a load of games from Devolver Digital, and I can't really remember any of them.
Yeah, I was trying to find it, but it's going to take me forever.
So, yeah, you know that crazy Suda 51?
Maybe.
Yeah, well, there's a new game coming exclusively to PS4, and it kind of looks a bit like a multiplayer manhunt with a load of creepy deaths and stuff. Can't remember what it was called.
Oh, Let It Die.
Yeah, Let It Die. Yeah, that looked really kind of... My mic's probably cocking up now because I'm watching a video to remind me.
Yep.
Okay, yes. So, Let It Die. It looks. It looked like the entire video was actually CG rather than in-game stuff. At the very least, maybe a replay. But very dark, quite greeny hues, very kind of atmospheric and claustrophobic feeling. Where it seems like you just basically brutally kill other people with things like a mace or a baseball bat with nails in it, or guns, and it's basically fodder for the newspapers that always go on about GTA. I'm guessing there'll be a huge kind of backlash about it, because people are like, someone's bound to kill someone, and say that they've been playing that game and use it as defense. It does look amazing, but again, not really able to tell from the fact that there was no gameplay show. But yeah, it looks interesting. The circular saw bit where you can see the reflection of your saw as you're bearing it down on a chap's face, and you can see the reflection in his goggles. That looked kind of horrifically realistic, I think. But yeah, I say very interesting, an interesting looking game. That's coming out next year, as pretty much everything that we're going to talk about in the entirety of E3. A very few games that were announced were coming out this year, or they were already out, or just out as soon as they announced them, which is obviously late for us now. Some of the creators of Journey are making a game about beautiful 2D oceans called Abzu. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
That looks really, really pretty. I mean, stupidly pretty. It reminds me of a lot of the old sort of natural history programs you used to watch, and maybe that movie with Bill Murray in Underwater Life with, was it Steve? I can't remember his name. Quite what you do in it, apart from swim around kelp beds and look at the fish, I'm not entirely sure. But it does look something it looks like something I could get lost in.
The deep sea diver simulator.
Yeah, if the music in the trailer is present in the game, it's very atmospheric, and it looks like you also you get attacked by sharks. You can swim with humpback whales and explore areas, but whether or not there's a plot or anything else, I haven't a clue. But it does.
Next year.
It does look pretty damn cool. But next up, a game I'm actually really excited about. Woo! No Man's Sky. Now, in the chat, a lot of people are going, "Oh, this looks like." I can't remember what they said, but really crappy graphics and stuff.
You're not going to get the best graphics for what this thing can do.
Yeah, it's a huge, huge, huge space sim, basically, where you can land on the planets, you can find stuff, and possibly even Minecraft style, get the resources to improve your ship or anything. But every player starts on a different planet. It's completely procedurally generated, all the worlds, everything, and with online as well. So can you imagine that? Every single person starts on a different planet.
Yeah.
And knowing my luck, I'll get stuck on the worst planet in the world with no atmosphere and just die instantly.
That happens.
But it's not just the planets. Some of the animals on the planets are procedurally generated, and I think it looks absolutely beautiful. I really do.
Crazy.
It seems quite simplified when you just take a glance at the graphics, but it's just it's gorgeous. The colors are amazing, and it sparks your imagination of what might be out there in space with these amazing colored grasses and trees. And actually, the trees I'm looking at now look like maple trees in autumn, so they're all very red.
Leaving the atmosphere and going into the atmosphere is really cool of other planets.
Yeah, and you get in your space. Yeah, I know I've got a thing for space flight at the moment, and I have done all my life. But yeah, you get in your ships and you can fight stuff, and you can. It just whatever I say, I cannot do it justice. Go to, I think it's No Man's Sky. Let me find the link. Yeah, go to no-mans-sky.com. Have a look at it. It looks fantastic. I can only hope that, as they said, a console exclusive on PlayStation 4 means it is going to come out on PC as well, because it's going to look so wonderful. I could get completely lost in that for the rest of my life.
I think they already said it's on PC.
Not really.
It says platforms PlayStation 4 and to be announced.
Yeah. Which hopefully means PC. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Can't wait to. If it does only come out on PlayStation 4, that one game is the main reason I'm going to get one. And then of course Grim Fandango, and well, then I suppose I'd have something that I could play Destiny on. So, but anyway, enough about that. I could talk about that for so much longer. But they did mention the camera that you can buy, and as a way to increase the value of the camera, they also mentioned some Morpheus thing.
I was going to say they mentioned the Matrix.
Yeah. Although these look a lot bigger than Morpheus's Sonny's that had no sides to them and just clipped on his nose.
Now, I do want to say, before he said about Morpheus and the camera thing, he's like, and we have the camera that we have made completely optional to you. So just like stabs that knife into Microsoft just a little bit more.
They've made it completely optional now.
Oh yeah, now they have.
Yeah.
But I think something like it's always been optional or something like that.
Well, yeah, always been optional. But now as an aside, now Microsoft have made it optional. It actually frees up some of the Xbox One's horsepower for making better looking games.
Sad.
Yeah.
But let's get off Morpheus and talk about the most important part of news.
Well, we didn't really say anything about Morpheus. Morpheus, is coming. It's think Oculus Rift for the PS4 and you're pretty much there. But apparently you need the camera as well.
Come on.
Or the camera helps. Yeah, the most important bit. YouTube sharing is coming to the PS4.
Oh my god.
They have finally entered the 21st century.
It's a surprise that these consoles all didn't come, with like YouTube and all this stuff like to start. Like, people are going to look at YouTube videos and everything.
Well, yeah, it's not so much looking at YouTube videos, it's being able to upload your videos to YouTube. Like having Twitch integration or, I don't know, a PC. Anyway, they also announced a load of free-to-play games coming out for the PS4 and or Vita. I'm not entirely sure any of them looked actually that good. They certainly didn't float my boat, or at least stick in my mind. But one of them was PlanetSide 2 on the PlayStation 4, which I guess is worth talking about because it's an amazing game. But a lot of them were kind of more social stuff. Let's see, we've got Guns Up, Fat Princess, Piece of Cake. That's coming out on PS Vita and mobile. Big Fest, Pain, Kingdom Under Fire 2, much like Kingdom Under Fire. Reaper, action RPG, Onigiri, PlanetSide 2, fantastic, best thing out there. My Singing Monsters, well, I've got that on my phone already, and actually I kind of like it, but I barely play it. Loadout, oh, isn't that already on Steam? Oh, yes, it is. And then there's War Thunder. And I think that was it for them. And then they announced PlayStation Now for US and Canada, which is going to be in beta for US and Canada on the PS4 from July the 31st. It's an open beta. Shortly after that, it'll become available on PS4 and PS Vita. And it will give you access to more than 100 PS3 games. Dead Space, Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. Still don't like the plural of zeros in that game. I don't know why. Yeah. Ultra Street Fighter 4 and no news about when actually it's going to be available for the rest of the world, which is a bit of a shame. But I'm sure someone somewhere will tell us what they think of it and what games that they can actually get hold of and if any of them are actually worth it. The PS Vita actually got a few mentions about remote play, but there weren't any real new announcements. PlayStation TV's been announced for North America and EU this autumn. It'll cost $99.
No, I think I will be getting that.
$140 with a controller. I'm not entirely sure I will because it basically is a box that'll stream your PS3 or PS4 to another TV, isn't it?
Well, that's not the point for me.
So no, so that your brother can So he doesn't steal the games.
Yeah, so my brother doesn't steal my PS3 or PS4. I can just get him that, and he can just play games on it on TV upstairs.
Yeah.
And he just has this little box next to the TV.
So sort of like Steam in home sharing.
Yep, basically. No, is that like you have to have the
streaming
the system in the house, and you have to be like connected to the same network, I'm guessing?
Yeah. Think NVIDIA Shield or Steam in-home streaming. It's all on the same network, and it just streams it from one to another.
But yeah, and like it comes with a controller or PS3 controller bundle. I'm not sure why they're doing the PS3 controller. Maybe because it's PS3 games and stuff. I don't know. But that's come for $139. And well, I think it'll be good for me to get for my brother Christmas present.
I say after that, there was that big announcement about some game called GTA V, and that's coming to the PlayStation 4 this autumn.
You completely missed all the other stuff.
I did miss all the other stuff. Let's go back up. I obviously accidentally scrolled as I was walking past. Mortal Kombat 10. That trailer looked pretty damn cool.
There was a lot, a lot of violence and a lot of bloody, gory action.
Which is really what you want in a Mortal Kombat game, isn't it?
Basically what they are. And they just get worse and worse as the graphics evolve.
Yeah, the clue's in the title, really, isn't it? But yeah, obviously Mortal Kombat, more of the same. It just looks prettier. We probably don't need to talk much about that, do we?
If you don't know what Mortal Kombat is, you've been under a rock for the past 25 years.
Or you're too young to have played one.
I hope they're not too young, because they shouldn't be listening to the podcast.
Well, we only really ever say fucking shit, I mean.
Those words aren't bad.
So Ratchet and Clank being remastered for the PS4, so that's another old game that's being polished and shined so that you can buy it again. Whoop-de-doo. Let's not make anything new.
They also showed like a movie or something.
Oh,
like
yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah, I'm so not going to go and see that.
I can't remember when they said it was coming up, but they completely left it off of this summary.
Yeah, it is coming out at some point. I'm not entirely sure if they... Oh, no, they said in theatres. I think it might be late this year or early next year. I think it's going to be before the remaster comes out, just to whet your appetite.
Yeah.
Because, woo. And talking of games that have been polished up a bit so you can buy them again, The Last of Us has been polished up a bit so you can buy it again on the PS4.
Now, what did this trailer say whenever they showed it?
I don't remember, actually. What did it say?
Spoilers.
Oh, yeah, spoilers.
Spoiler warning or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting there, what are you going to do? Cover your eyes and ears? No.
Yeah. What did you do? Thanks. There's a massive screen and it's so loud I can't even hear myself think.
It says, like, contains spoilers or whatever. And I think they were, like, boos in the crowd and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I would guess people that are there would see it, but, people watching or something go, oh, God, no. Like, I want to get this game. I never played it before. Why would you have spoilers in it?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't mind playing it, and I never played it before, but I know that, well, I've already forgotten what was in that trailer, so it doesn't matter for me. But then we were approaching 5 a.m. by then, weren't we? For me, so
yeah,
it's hardly surprising. But yeah, if you're a fan of old games that look new, this E3 was the one for you, definitely, with all the Halo and everything else that's being remastered. Okay, one of the ones I said I would like to get, but I'll just play the original. And I guess, technically, something old that's being remastered to look better and shinier. GTA 5 even is coming out on the PlayStation 4 this autumn. And whilst they didn't mention anything about exclusivity or...
we found out the day after that it is on...
Well, actually, I found out seconds after, because Rockstar tweeted that it was also coming out on PC and Xbox One. But I do think there was some exclusive stuff for the PS4 version. But, nah.
Well, I know they said stuff about you'll be able to bring over your 360 or PS3 as save if you
but you can do that. You can do that on the Xbox One and the PC version as well. So that's not.
I don't know how you do it on the PC.
Well, I guess there'll be some sort of code or something, or your Rockstar account. You'll be able to sign into that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're getting near the end. The penultimate thing was the trailer for Batman Arkham Knight. God. And it showed off the Batmobile, which is basically a freaking tank, isn't it?
It turns into a tank.
Yeah, he can't use guns, but he can use a freaking tank with a turret on it.
I can't remember who said that. I think you saw it in chat or something like that.
It was Zerum or Acid.
Oh yeah, I think it was Zerum. Yeah.
And yeah, it looks great fun. I've wanted to have a Batmobile I always want a Batmobile in Batman games. A huge part of Batman is the freaking Batmobile. And finally, we get a game. I think the last one I played with a Batmobile was on my friend's Atari ST. And you had this hook that came out. It came out during the time of Tim Burton's Batman films. And it had this hook that came out that would get onto a lamppost and you could go around a corner quickly. And you had to do the whole puzzle where you're trying to figure out what makeup products killed people. So yeah, it's going back a bit. I think that was the first Tim Burton Batman film, actually, wasn't it? That had all that stuff in it.
Yeah, I can't remember which one the Batmobile went up the building.
No, I can't either. But and really, really freaking annoyingly, there's some Scarecrow Nightmare missions that are going to be exclusive to PlayStation. I'm hoping it's going to be a timed exclusive because those Scarecrow Nightmare missions I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah, they're really cool.
And I've said really, really too many times. But at least I haven't said thank you a lot. And last but not least, Uncharted 4.
Enchantment?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about Sandal. Yeah, last but not least, Uncharted. I've done it again.
Come on, Dad, we're almost done with this part.
Okay, and last but by no means least, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End.
Now, they didn't show too much in this trailer. It was
just a little teaser trailer, wasn't it? But yeah, for all you Uncharted fans out there, like Steve, woohoo!
Uncharted is really cool. I don't know what they're gonna do in this one compared to those.
All I know from Uncharted is a few years ago at Eurogamer when I got to play multiplayer, and it just felt like the gun was way better than the knife was the tool to use because you'd empty clip after clip into someone's head, and then they just run up and stab you, and you were dead.
Well, Uncharted 3 kind of worked better with the whole if it's a headshot, it's like a one-hit kill.
Yeah, well. It was an early version of the game, but yeah, there was just people running around with knives, like some bunch of nutters.
But yeah, they show Drake, and he looks pretty. So, and I think they brought the people from The Last of Us into this one too.
Okay, yeah, well, I think that is about it from everything Sony. I can't think of anything we've missed. Can you, Gary?
I just remembered one thing that the person didn't have in the summary was Sony showed off a comic book kind of TV series that you can get if you're you can get the first season or whatever for free.
Oh, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, it's called Powers.
Yeah.
And they only showed concept art of it and everything. They said it's going to be out in December, and they're casting now and everything. And I'm guessing they must have the animations started and going and partially through, so whenever they get the people, they can just voice act it, because having that stuff come out in December is going to be chore, getting everything done. And
Well, if you've got the script done, you can animate the whole lot without necessarily having to have the people's voices.
oh yeah, that's what I was saying. They probably have all that stuff started and probably a couple episodes maybe completed. I don't know, maybe the first one at least.
Well, I don't know. Animation takes so long. They probably got quite a few of them done already.
Yeah, so they probably are ready once they get the voice actors to just start voice acting.
I remember hearing about it, and it just made me think of alphas. As soon as they said the name Powers, it was like, well, people in alphas had powers. Hope he doesn't get canned like alphas did.
So maybe whenever I get a PS4 and get PS Plus, I'll be able to watch it.
Okay, well, that was Sony, and now we are talking about EA, and they had some interesting stuff. They kicked off the conference with a pre-filmed video of DICE discussing Star Wars, the game they always wanted to make, the new Battlefront. I'm still not holding my breath. But according to the video, they've got a real passion for the franchise. They went to the original studio, well, actually to the museum that's there. They've got a social history museum, and they looked at the props and took loads of photos and scans. And then they went to a load of the original places, like the forest where they filmed the Battle of Endor, and the place where they filmed a lot of the stuff from Hoth, the really icy bits, and just to get the feel of the game. And yeah, it did look really cool, and apparently it's being released next year, just like everything else in E3.
Are they going to have Ewoks?
Well, as long as they have Ewoks and they don't have Jar Jar fucking Binks. Apparently the team's got a huge passion for the franchise, and I've already said that, I think. It's coming out in 2015, I think I've already said that. The EA CEO, Andrew Wilson, then took the stage after the Battlefront announcement and discussed how apparently they're putting gamers first by rinsing them for as much money as possible. And he then introduced Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping it's going to be a hell of a lot better than Dragon Age 2. Whilst I did enjoy Dragon Age 2, the cut and paste nature of all the dungeons really just did start to piss me off. But yeah, it's looking fantastic. I'm not too sure about the name Inquisition. It just reminds me too much of the Spanish Inquisition and a lot of the... Not so much the Monty Python, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition, but more the terrible, terrible stuff they did in the name of God. So, yeah, interesting choice of name. But they've also announced a couple of new titles which are coming from BioWare, one of which is a new IP, which is kind of cool. But first off, obviously, Dragon Age Inquisition. We didn't see a huge amount for that, did we? I mean, there was basically a trailer.
Yeah, we basically talked about it for Microsoft stuff whenever they showed it and everything. There isn't too much more to really say about it than what we said already.
Except we didn't mention that Morrigan's in it and the other character whose name I can't remember. So I suppose it doesn't really matter. Hang on. There we go. It's just here. Varric. Varric's back in it. So, a couple of characters that you know about and a load of others that, well, I don't remember anyway.
Who will you shag this game? BioWare.
Every year. Every game. Morrigan gets some.
God. But one of the next things they talk about, I'm sure people are excited. They didn't show much. They only kind of talked about... Yeah,
there was a bit of concept art and some stuff that BioWare Montreal are doing, and it's been confirmed to PS4 and Xbox One, which we knew already. It's probably going to come out on PC as well, and that, of course, is the new Mass Effect.
Yeah, they're talking about like what fans want and what fans want done with Mass Effect. Because they listen to fans very well whenever they don't like the ending of a Mass Effect game.
I can't believe they did that, man. I'm still still kind of shocked that they caved in so much. I had
I
no
can't believe
problem
they
with
even
that
gave money back or whatever
Yeah.
to people that didn't like it. It's like, come
It's just
on,
like,
it's what they said. This is how this ends. It's not.
No one-
Hey, I didn't like it. You change it now. It's
I
like,
mean, can you imagine if people didn't like the ending of the Harry Potter series? Can you honestly imagine? I've forgotten her name.
You talking about the girl that played Hermione?
No, the woman who wrote the books.
Oh,
Oh God, what the fuck's her name?
I almost said Tolkien.
Yeah, no.
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling, yeah. I mean, can you imagine people writing or emailing or flooding a Twitter feed saying, "Oh, I didn't like the way your last book ended. Give me back my money or change the ending." No, that's not what you do. Okay, you might see a movie and think, "Well, I didn't particularly like the ending." Yeah. I wanted a dark ending where everyone got screwed. Or actually an
that
ending.
would be kind of cool.
Yeah. But you don't do that. You take the story as the way it's presented to you. And I had anyway. I don't want to start off a whole conversation about gamers' entitlement, feelings of entitlement, and the fact that they should be able to change stuff.
Game,
I still haven't played the new ending. I was perfectly happy with the old ending. I don't need to see the new ending. Okay, yeah, they showed new IP. As far as we know, it's called New IP because they didn't really reveal the title. Sort of post-apocalyptic. There wasn't any moving imagery. Anything that we could say would just be speculation. But there's a new IP, so woo.
I do like post-apocalyptic things like Fallout and stuff. Man, I wish there was Fallout.
Yeah, it looks kind of cool, but yeah, not a huge amount that we can really say about that as we know nothing of it, and you never know, it might not even see the light of day. And then they mentioned a franchise that I just absolutely love.
Yeah, I was about to say, hey, next thing, something Dan actually likes.
I am so excited about this game. The
Even though
Sims
they
4.
screwed you over with the last one. Well, not exactly screwed you over, but like it took forever to actually get stuff working again. And was that SimCity, right?
Yeah, not the Sims though.
Oh, is that like completely different than this?
Yeah. The Sims you control people. SimCity you build a city.
Okay.
The Sims 4, more of the same, but with more stuff, and apparently you can control their emotions and everything else, and what they want to do, and you can make people angry, and you can get some bloke to get into a fight with an old woman.
I was watching that, and we got the guy they were showing, they were kind of showing this guy's life, and he gets into an argument with this old woman, and the old woman kicks his ass. And you have to cheer him up. So he's training really hard in the gym, and then
but he's still angry.
Yeah.
So he has a party to forget about, but she turns up again.
Yeah.
But it's all right because something happens and he just can't stop laughing, and he laughs so much he dies, and then the Grim Reaper appears. I'm sorry, I understand why people like The Sims. It's almost like being Big Brother. Partly the TV show, and also partly, controlling everything that's going on, making or breaking these people's lives and relationships. And, I can understand why some people would, a lot of people find that fun, but it's one of those games where you've got the emergent narrative. You've got your Sims, and the narrative comes from, the jobs they get or don't get, how happy they are. But the only time I've ever really had a go at playing The Sims, it pissed me off because if I didn't tell them to have a shit or a piss, they would piss themselves. I mean, I was like, really?
Yeah, you can't do that on your own.
Yeah, I was like, you're an adult that's trying to get a job in some sort of media as a journalist, and you can't actually. I suppose that's quite accurate. Sorry.
God.
And you can't do anything without being told what to do. But yeah, if you're excited about The Sims, sorry, I'm taking the piss out of it. It's just not my kind of game. And actually, neither are the next couple of games, because EA Sports showed UFC and NHL 15. So, woo.
Oh, I can't remember what it was, if it was here or if it was like at the beginning of the press conference when the guy comes out and is like, all the feels. I just like, go away.
No, that's later on. Yeah, we'll get to that.
It's still not happening.
Yeah.
Wow.
NHL looked really good. Everything's got physics now, and apparently a load of stuff happens that they didn't expect to happen, but it's still really cool. Because that's what you want to hear from a developer. It's like, we didn't expect this shit to happen, but we're keeping it in because it's really cool.
Like Goat Simulator.
Yeah. And yeah, again, I understand, people like these games. I'd rather actually go and watch a hockey match or UFC rather than pretend that I was playing in one.
I'd rather not do either.
If I could ice skate, I'd probably have a go at ice hockey, but I can't, so I'm not going
much
to.
aggression out against people. You just
Yeah,
go
those
around checking
pads has
people.
got to help. I used to play hockey, with a stick and a ball.
Hockey.
And that was quite a violent game, fairly physical. And whenever the ref wasn't looking, you would take someone out with a stick to the shins. So, yeah.
Which is illegal. Well, I guess.
Yeah, but if no one sees it.
This guy's laying on the ground. Oh my god, my shit. All right, keep going.
Yeah, so next up, one of my old favourite UK-based, actually, they used to be based in Scotland, now they're based in my old hometown of Guildford. Criterion showed off their new IP, which goes beyond cars. So if you're looking for a Burnout, this isn't really Burnout. It's got boats, jet skis, planes, motorcycles, helicopters, loads of terrain. Actually, what it really reminded me of was some of the stuff I've seen in GTA 5 online with like the races and stuff you can do in planes, jet skis, cars, quad bikes, wingsuits. It basically looks like that. It looks a lot of fun. The world looked fantastic. It looked really nice, but they didn't announce the title. But apparently, to make sure they could make the game as accurate as possible, they went out and did a lot of skydiving and racing around in cars and quad bikes and stuff like that. So it's good to know they're having fun. Yeah, if it ends up on PC, I'll probably end up getting it because I did like most of the Burnout games. And then there's that wonderful, fantastic spectator sport of golf. There's a new PGA coming out using the Frostbite engine, and it's coming out in spring of next year. And the tagline is "Golf without limits." And apparently
Except for the course.
Well, but apparently you can hit a ball over a battleship.
They said that. They're like, and you can hit the ball over that battleship. Oh my god! Yay!
Now, the only real experience I've had with golf is once when a friend of mine who was a member at Wentworth with his dad took me to their driving range, and I couldn't really hit the ball. And then once at a local pitch and putt with some friends of mine in an incredible downpour. And I did manage to hit the ball, and I could either make it go horizontally forwards or straight up in the air and then land back in the same spot, but nothing in between, which I think is like the main point of actually getting some distance. So, yeah. Although I do quite like some golf games because they're so much easier.
Golf games, like, ever since doing like Wii Fit and Wii Sports and stuff, I never want to play a golf game where I'm not swinging on my own, because for some reason I have too much fun doing that, and the wife laughs at me because it looked funny whenever I'm trying to golf.
Well, I remember I used to play a brilliant one at a pub where it had a kind of trackball, and you'd have to roll it back and then forwards again, and depending on the angle, depending on how you hit it, and you could choose your clubs and stuff. That was quite good fun, and they were all linked over the internet, and you could end up winning a dickload of money if you were any good at it. I obviously wasn't that good at it because golf. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, they showed a few other titles. There was Madden 15, where apparently now playing defense is a lot more fun. Dawngate, because, if League of Legends, Dota 2 and the original Dota aren't good enough MOBAs for you, there's a new one coming out by Waystone Games. And they showed FIFA 15. And that was the guy that kept talking about the emotion of football and the emotion and how you got the emotion from the crowd.
Yeah. But that's not even the only one that are like, you're going to be able to feel the characters. Like, they said that for Madden. They said that for NHL. They said it for FIFA. And, there's so much feel. So much in this damn.
But FIFA 15 was the one with the most feels.
Yeah, the guy announcing, the trailer or whatever, talking about all the, this is football, and oh god,
yeah, soccer for the Americans.
Yeah, I'm sure we all know what it is, but nobody acknowledges it.
Well, America are playing in the World Cup at the moment.
Yeah,
in Brazil. Well, yeah, bet you don't win it.
Probably not.
We don't win
said
either.
They're rooting for America. I was like, they're not gonna fucking win. We're not the best.
Yeah, that'd be like rooting for Greece. They're not going to win either. Or England.
Basically,
they're not going to.
The Americans in there they're saying football match. I'm like, what? I thought this was soccer. Shit, we should probably leave. I don't want to get tackled. I got nothing out of that.
No, you got nothing out of that because, at least football, soccer, as you guys know, does predominantly involve you using your feet with the ball rather than your pansy version of rugby. I'm going to get so much hate for saying that, aren't I? Okay, well, enough of MOBAs and sporty stuff and FIFA. They did mention Mirror's Edge 2, which is a long time coming, and there was a bit of a pre-recorded session from DICE, and it had a lot of them saying about how they were building on the premise of the first Mirror's Edge, but expanding on Faith's character to kind of give you a bit more story and get the reasons for why she's doing what she's doing. And they were saying how they're recreating Faith for a new generation. And
they said something about she has a tattoo above her eye for a reason.
Well, yeah, but they also showed some videos of people doing parkour, which they didn't even have motion capture suits on them or anything. They were just filming it so they could get an idea of moves that are actually used in reality. And some of it looked pretty cool. There was a little bit of gameplay in there, but they didn't provide a release date, didn't tell us anything about the story. I'd really like to hear that Rihanna Pratchett was still involved in it because, I love her father's work, and I think the story she's worked on in other games have been fantastic.
I still need to play the first one.
It's just not bad. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's not bad. But anyway, next up, Visceral Games. Battlefield, Hardline, cops and robbers on the streets, helicopters and cranes crashing into buildings and 32-player maps. And
this is way over the top for cops and robbers.
Yeah.
It's this would never happen in real life ever. Not even having 32 people dealing in a heist for one.
Yeah. Right. Okay, we're going to get 16 of the best hard men we know, and we're going to do over this bank. Right. We've got Jimmy the Wheels driving in one van. We've got Fast Steve in another.
We got Bobby in the helicopter.
Nah, Chopper Dave in the helicopter. Yeah, it looks like it could be a lot of fun. And if this is your only source of E3 news, then what the hell are you doing? Because there are much more professional people than us talking about it. But the beta has been launched, and there's probably a massive queue if you haven't signed up for it already. That's available on PC and PS4.
I love how the guy just goes, he's like, he basically ends the conference saying, and the Hardlydan beta is available now. And I said something on Twitter. I was like, and then the world shifted a little bit from everybody running to their PS4s because like it just completely crashed Sony's system.
Oh yeah, and EA's website as well.
Yeah.
But in good news, it's out this year in October, and October and November are going to be some expensive months for me because there's a lot of stuff coming out that I want to get. So yeah, won't be going to the pub.
Oh.
But yeah, if you want a full rundown of all the other stuff that's been going on that we haven't covered, just use Google. There's loads of stuff there.
I'll have links.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's about it really for EA stuff. It's all been a bit meh, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it hasn't been too good so far in it, but like the next part we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, let's hope that Nintendo delivers something that we can actually talk about.
Yeah, really. I doubt it, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's end this part and we can get into the next part.
Indeed.
And the listeners can get in the next part.
Well, so if you've enjoyed this second part with the coverage from Sony and EA, be sure to check out part 3 with all of the goodness from Nintendo.